Hi, it's Pam, Crazy Coffee Lady. It's Monday afternoon and I just got home from work. I'm enjoying my afternoon coffee today. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and that made me think of a very dear friend that I had, and I wanted to tell you the story about her. Her name is Tammy. Well, here's Sid. Sid is also part of this story. Say hi, Sid. Sid doesn't want to. I met Tammy at work. We were hired at the same time, and we went through orientation together. I didn't really think we were going to be friends in the beginning. It wasn't until we worked together for some time and we were both put on second shift that we got close. She became my very best friend and the best friend I have ever had. We had a lot of fun together. We went shopping, we had coffee together before work often. Sometimes after work we'd hang out, we'd get a bite to eat, talk. She would come over to my house and she would color my hair. She taught me how to color my hair, which I don't do anymore, but I did for a while. Several years actually. When I first started going gray, she taught me how to cover it up. And I am really grateful for that. Sometimes she would come over with her flute and I would play the piano and we would just play music together, and that was a lot of fun. I always enjoy that. I've done that many times with friends in my life. We had such a good time. She started feeling tired all the time, and she was telling me, I'm tired. Why am I so tired? And I thought, well, we're working an off shift. You've got teenagers, and we're in our 40s. There's plenty of reasons to be tired. But I didn't realize the level of exhaustion she was actually fighting. One night she decided to run a blood test on herself, and she found cells that were atypical. She didn't really know what they were. I think she actually did know, but she didn't say. She never said that she knew that they were cancer cells, but they were. So the next day, as soon as she got to work, they sent her to a doctor. After the slide had been reviewed by pathologists and a supervisor and many people, at the age of 48, she was diagnosed with leukemia. Everything changed. Her life and my life turned upside down. She had to tell her husband, she had to tell her children, she had to go into the hospital right away. They did a bone marrow, which is very painful. She had to undergo chemo, which was very intense and made her very, very ill. And they transferred her to Chicago Hospital. The cancer had a genetic mutation, which causes it to return. So after all this treatment, she knew the cancer was probably going to come back. They started looking for a donor for a bone marrow transplant. So the cancer went away after the first round of chemo and stayed gone for a few months. But Tammy never got that much better. She didn't regain her strength. She didn't return to work. She had been in the hospital for months, and it wasn't, I don't know how many months it was, but the cancer did indeed come back. And they had just found a bone marrow donor who was a perfect match. And they were ready to begin the pre-test that they have to do before a transplant. And it was during that testing that they discovered the cancer had returned. So she went through more chemo, and of course that wiped out her bone marrow because it also wiped out the leukemia. It wiped out a component of her blood, which is called platelets, and that's what helps your blood to clot. And she did pretty good, except that she started bleeding, and every time they tried to give her platelets, her body would just destroy the donor platelets that they gave. So it was called idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura. It's basically, they don't know why it happens, but the body just attacked the platelets they were giving her, and she couldn't make her own because her bone marrow was depleted at the time. What ended up happening was that she developed a small brain bleed, and that took her life. They weren't able to take her to surgery because she would bleed. And there was basically nothing they could do, and she slipped away. And I think about her often, but I especially think about her on holidays and Mother's Day, because I think about her family and what an effect she had on her kids, and how proud of them she would be now, because they are fantastic adults. Her family really stepped up when she became ill. Her husband and her children were there all the time. She was never alone. Somebody was always with her. Even though the hospital was an hour away, somebody was there all the time for all the months that she was in, and all the times she was hospitalized, because there were numerous times. This was over the course of, I think, about a year that she was sick, and it left such an impact on her family. And I'm sorry for them, because she was a terrific mother and a wonderful person, and I'm so happy she was a part of my life. And I'm sorry for her family, for their loss, but I know that she had such an impact on their life that that's why they turned out to be such terrific people. It's because of Tammy that I even have Sid. She was a great animal lover, and she had several cats and dogs. Before she got sick, she told me she wanted a Siamese cat, and she found a breeder, and we went there together and picked up this little kitten. He was so cute. This was Sid. She brought him home, and he integrated into the family and with the rest of the furry friends. He was, I think, about 4 years old when she got sick and passed away. And about a year after that, her family contacted me and asked me if I would like to take Sid, because they couldn't handle all of the animals anymore, and they knew that Sid was a little special to me because I was the first person to meet him besides her, since I was with her when she brought him home. And I said, sure, I'll take Sid. And he's now, I believe he's 8 years old. He just had a birthday in March. There he is. There's Sid. Say hi. Meow. Meow. And he is a terrific friend to me. Anytime I get upset or depressed or cry, he jumps in my lap and he hugs me. And I just imagine that Tammy is with me, and that's her hugging me. That she sends her love through Sid. And I'm very happy to have him. I try to stay positive in my vlogs, and this was a little bit of a heavy one, but I want to end it on a really good note. And that's that I had the opportunity to have such a great person in my life who really taught me to accept myself and love myself, was a great friend, and she will never be forgotten. Thank you for watching and for hearing my story. If you are so inclined, please leave a comment below, like, share, and subscribe. Peace.